Hi all, thanks for joining us on this next episode of The Offside.
And the Otros podcast. In this episode, yeah,
In this episode, we will dive deep into the review of the second Test match, rave about India's magnificent victory, talk deep about how Gill's batting turned out and how Akashdeep turned up with the ball, and all the good things that we saw in this game.
yep, join us. The smile on your face tells me a lot of things. Hello, Arvind.
Hey, hi Shane. Yeah. What do they say? A picture is worth a thousand words. So yeah,
Yeah, I
there's.
mean, it's in stark contrast to how we were when we were reviewing the first test, right? I mean, it's
I
chalk
know
and
we were
cheese.
offering shoulders to each other last time around. This time it's like high five. Uh, so a lot can change in like what 10 days, 2 weeks time. But
I mean,
glad.
10 days indeed. 10 days indeed. But a few things didn't change between the first test to the second. Like, we can definitely talk about it. But, like, the biggest thing that matters is the result. Like, India won, which is, I think, what we all fretted, given that we're coming off a demoralizing loss. Bumrah won't be playing this, and we aren't sure what our team is going to be and how we are going to deliver, and if our batting, which we claimed was our weaker suit
As
at the
good.
beginning of the
How
test
is it?
series, yeah, how is it going to perform two games in a row? I mean, it's safe to say they've really, like, squashed all doubts, right?
Okay, no two doubts or questions about it. I think more than the batting, I would say batting somehow clicked really, really, very well in the first test match, uh, leaving probably fewer questions about batting. Of course, you can always nitpick batters and like positions, but that aside, the whole fact that Jasprit Bumrah was likely not going to play and all of the sort of cloud around it definitely made us look like a weaker side on paper.
But the
But
person
I know
who
what you're getting to.
replaced Bumrah, I think, can we join hands?
I think we need to. We should officially go on record and say that
Sorry,
Akashdeep, this is a
we are
very
very sorry.
personal apology, towards you, to the fact that they didn't even mention his name, and that
Yeah,
somehow. I mean, honestly, I felt bad about it. The way
yeah.
he has been bowling, the way he bowled in the last England tour as well. Uh,
You mean when
the
England
sort
toured
of
India?
cricket enthusiast and fandom we claim for ourselves, the fact that we didn't even mention his name definitely
Yeah.
needs an on record
I mean,
apology.
it is definitely unbelievable. I think we also got caught up a little bit in the IPL fever, where we
Sure,
saw
sure.
Prasidh Krishna and Arshdeep do well, and we are like Prasidh Krishna, Arshdeep, Prasidh Krishna, Arshdeep.
I know, I
Akash
know.
did not have a good IPL. We sort of somehow forgot about him, which is definitely something we, like, as
You have to own up.
self-claimed.
Yeah, but we all know that IPL performances don't really count towards India team selection, especially in Test
Sure,
match. So,
sure.
so exactly. Hmm.
Yeah. But okay, so let's get into the game. Like, the first inning. Actually, just a few noters.
Mm-hmm.
I was traveling this weekend, so I saw the first couple of days full and full. I was just following the scores, like, of the last 3 days, probably the days when I should have been watching the game, when India was really dominating England. But yeah, I was traveling, I was out camping, so, like, with
Nope.
family.
I hope you really had a good time.
Oh yeah, it was super fun. It was super fun. But I mean, I was definitely telling my wife that, I mean, I'm feeling bad that I saw the whole test match where India lost, and I'm missing the last 3 days of the test match where India is winning, like, so well. But hey,
You know what that says for all those cricket. What do they say? Like you're probably the lucky charm not watching the game live. So,
please don't tell me that. Please don't tell me that. I want to watch the next three games.
oh my God, I'm,
Oh,
I'm already dreading the result now. Though. But no, jokes apart. But I'm glad you got to take some time for yourself, and
oh
hope
man.
you are fully
I
recharged
I
and
am as
here
back.
to rave about the victory.
No, I am as back as is the Indian cricket team. Like
Oh,
we are back
are
and
you as bad as Jasprit Bumrah? Is that what
oh
you want?
yes, yes. I
So
He's gonna play the next match. I'm gonna watch the next match. So
yeah,
that makes us
I'm
even
glad. I'm glad. I'm glad.
better. But like, I think, do you think it was a iffy call from England to bowl first again? But I know, I mean, they've claimed to be, and they've chased 370 on this ground. They chased 370 in the last game. They are always gonna chase. But after, I don't know, lacking the kind of match-winning bowlers in their team, do you really think they should keep chasing every time over and over again?
Great question. I think England just backed their strength, which is their strength to chase literally any total, and we got to acknowledge the fact that that was always running in our minds until like the end of day's play on fourth day. So next thing that we could go to the topic later, but they did back their strength, and honestly, their bowling got 20 wickets in the first test match. We can argue both sides and be like, hey, Indian team collapsed, which is equally true. But the fact that they took 20 wickets and we couldn't, so they just backed their bowling, and Vokes was definitely coming into the team after a while, but he looked pretty much in rhythm, or at least getting there. Tom definitely looked you know very effective, and Cars too. Arguably, he was able to nip and seam the ball, which and Ben Stokes, man, that you were really bringing this up, and kudos to you. Ben Stokes was literally English, the best England bowler in the first Test match. So, uh,
No,
you
I
know,
mean, I wanted to, like, that was a nice point you brought up. We, at the preview of this test, we were unanimously claiming Jofra Archer should come in place of Tong.
mhm.
But Tong is the bowler who seemed like the most threatening among the
True,
English pacers in this game.
very very
Like,
true. Yeah,
he
yeah, yeah.
had the pace up. He troubled our bowler, our batsman, like even Yashasvi, the way he got him in the second innings, he was
Very
good.
true.
Now, it is, and towards the end of the game, Cars got his foot injury. So now, and
Which could,
Vogue seemed tired. And Vogue seemed tired.
yep,
Now they have all three of their bowling, like whatever, like bowling lineup, tired or
that
injured
is
or
up against
unavailable.
the wall, and questions being raised about that. So yeah, we could sort of continue the
Yeah,
discussion
we
when
can
we
get there. So
review or preview the
yeah,
second test match.
let's
But you're absolutely right.
yeah.
And it sort of made sense, I would say. I think Indian team would have also thought the same way had we won the first test match. It would have given you enough confidence, rhythm to, believe and back the team. And, as the old saying goes, hey, why
Why
mend it
fix
if it's
what
not
ain't broke?
broken? Yeah, something exactly. So I think they just back their strengths. They seem to be in good rhythm, arguably.
Yeah.
So yeah, they just, followed their gut, I would say. And
Yeah.
that is how they've been sort of preparing the pitches as well to suit their strength.
I mean, yeah, I mean, one step, but I mean, having said that,
Hmm.
in some time in the first day when we were 211 for five, where I think Nitish Kumar Reddy fell for one,
I know.
I'm sure England felt like they made the right decision and it's just a matter of time before they could run through. So, having said that, they did get India to a point where they probably wanted and then just kind of either gave the advantage away or we took the advantage away.
Sort of. To back that point, even before we got to 200 for five or so, we were almost 90 for two, which was the first day's lunch, or just going into first day's lunch, which seemed
Oh
like a
man.
pretty same score line as the first test match.
Oh
So
man. I remember texting you at 90 for 1 in the last over
I know,
before
right?
lunch. I really hope Karun doesn't get out. I want us to go 90 for 1 and the next ball he gets
Oh
out.
God, he got a Jaffer.
Yeah.
You sort of ought to play that ball, and
Yeah.
but I'd probably excuse, Karan's first innings dismissal. That
Yeah.
was like, some ball. It had
Yeah.
to like, get a wicket kind of a ball.
Very
So
similar to what
you could
happened to
give
Ben
that to him.
Stokes later round, right? Very similar to what happened to Ben Stokes
Exactly,
later.
Siraj's ball. Yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep.
Yep. So I mean the KL Rahul, how assured he looked in the first test. He was extremely tentative and rattled by Vokes. I felt.
Very, very true. I was reading about this online. There is apparently a stat going out there where he has about 22, 23 dismissals in test matches where he's been bowled, and 11 or 12 of them have been like, when he has nicked himself on. It's sort of, it's a, I don't know, it's a definitely a sad stat for such a classy batsman, but it just shows that, probably him being a bit tentative, indecisive, call it, sort of, doesn't really play out well for him.
Yeah. I mean, I felt India was super lucky in the first innings, right? With the umpire's call
The
going
umpire's
our
call
way
going our way.
twice.
No, no, no. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, like we'll touch up on that. So essentially, KL Rahul like very tentative and he got out. And
Hmm.
then we were slightly lucky, I'll say, with Yashasvi's LBW because it actually looked super close when
Super
he was.
close. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then Karun and Yashasvi like counterattacked so beautifully.
Man.
We were some 30 odd for one at the end of 10, 12 overs.
Yep,
And
yep.
at the end of like the first sessions play, we were 90 for
Close to
one.
90. Yeah, yeah.
Essentially
I mean,
90 for one
some
before the
some of the drives and shots that Karun Nair played were like glorious, man. You could literally watch them on repeat, and wow.
yeah. He's actually very compact. His feet doesn't move as much. He is kind of plays very close in that box, and then he kind of anything that is close to him, he kind of punches it like really beautifully.
Yep.
That I mean, I was really happy to see him. Firstly, get an
Get off to
opportunity
that
to
start.
play.
No, agree. Yep.
Yeah, number three, which we both predicted that he will.
Yep.
And then actually him performing, I really thought on this flattish wicket, he'll probably get that opportunity to score big.
Hmm.
But I mean, as luck would have it in this case, he got a really, really good ball in the first innings.
So,
But I mean, what did you think about? Okay, there is this stat.
mhm.
Shubman Gill's 100 was probably the most controlled innings ever since the stat about control started getting gathered.
I know.
Some 5.8 or 10.6 something was the fall shot percentage of his. Like, what did you have to say about him?
Man, you know what? I literally did this, sort of prepping for this podcast. I was looking for adjectives and superlatives that are synonymous with classy. Like his entire innings, man, it was like picture perfect. No nick shot, no edge shot, sort of, out of control one. There were a few arguably, but
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
point being, he looked so assured, so in control, like elegant, classy. I don't know, after a couple of words, you sort of run out of superlatives. You're so
Yeah.
mesmerized by his, whole stance and
Yes.
innings that you're actually finding difficult to, find like words and superlatives to describe his innings. But oh boy, like what an innings, man. Like that's like I think it's probably the highest score by an Indian Test, captain. And there were so many questions even before the series, right?
Yeah.
About Gill being ineffective in China countries and not really having, I think, even like a 40 or a 50 plus score, and all of that were sort of against him. And then give him the captaincy, which is definitely an additional burden.
Yeah.
But then he's been walking the talk, and as you would
Yeah.
say, he rightly pointed out in the pre-match press conference that the top five batters have to contribute more, and he sort of put his
Rightly for
hand up.
you, having said the same.
uh, no, but that said, he also mentioned that he would personally want to, be contributing more, and that he first is a batter in the team and sort of, would want to put that mask on, especially when he's batting. And man, he's like silenced all his critics, for a good time now. Beautiful, man. I just
I
I
mean,
really can't
the
say much more about his innings. That's It's so
the
difficult to
way
describe
he
that innings.
actually the way he constructed the innings,
Hmm.
especially when Nitish Kumar Reddy fell and Jadeja came in, he almost took it upon himself to again kind of reset, start from
Yep,
scratch, and go build the innings again. While Jadeja took a little more aggressive route where he was trying to go for some runs,
the start of the
Shubman
innings.
kind of just anchored in, got through his runs, put away
I
the
know.
bad balls.
Hey,
It was
kudos to you. You called this out. You did mention the fact that Jadeja is a better batter than Nitish, and Jadeja should be coming up the order, and rightfully so. He did come up the order in the second
in the
innings, which
second innings,
again
right?
helped him build and build his innings in the second innings. So,
See, I
great call,
think
man.
Jadeja at this point has become an extremely assured test batter. Even in the first innings, we saw he was so in control.
Right.
He was not rushed. He has shots in most parts of the ground.
Yep.
He
Yep.
plays
Yep.
straight well, square well. The short ball, he plays it pretty well.
Very,
I mean,
very true, very true. And
I
hey,
mean,
man, like he has like two triple centuries in Indian domestic or
in
Ranji, Ranji cricket. That shows and speaks volume about him as a batter. And I was researching this online, and this by no means trying to shame KL. But at present, Jadeja's test average is 35 point something, and KL's test average is 34 point something. And I
that,
I'm Team KL. Let's put it out there for all the KL fans.
no, but they
Point I'm
both,
trying to make is he
yeah,
has
they
over
both
the
play.
years.
Yeah, they play
Yep.
different roles in the team. Yeah,
No,
please
no,
finish.
fair. Yeah, just saying. If records and numbers are to speak,
Yeah.
volumes, then no better
It's
example.
like for KL, I don't think the records, whatever you see so far, are conducive to him. They
Oh, not
really
really.
don't. Like, if somebody in the future was to look at KL's records and judge him as a player, he'll not come across as
He would
somebody
never come
who holds
across.
so
Yeah,
much promise, so much talent as we who are watching him live can
yep.
see, right?
He is. Yeah, he's sort of the batting beauty that you ought to witness. Like numbers won't really tell the story for KL.
Which
Uh,
is, I mean, I am sure that is something that will run out of steam pretty quickly if he doesn't score. Luckily, he is not out of
that,
form. He did score a 50
exactly. That said, he scored a big 100 in the first test match, second
first test.
innings.
Yeah.
He scored a 50 in this test match as well. So
Yeah.
we, if someone's getting slack, he's definitely not the one getting slack. Like, he's just done enough to, give us the solid start and,
Yeah. Yeah.
sort of put us off to a flyer. So he's done his job pretty well. Hey, on
But
that
I
note,
mean,
I just wanted to give
yeah.
a small shout out to Jadeja, sorry, Jaiswal as well. He scored an excellent 89,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he had a 100 coming. I felt that he sort of threw it away,
Threw it
unfortunately,
away.
but I'm
Yeah.
sure he's going to learn and get better, and
I have a feeling he scored half of his runs against England. Maybe more than
oh,
half.
he has a great stat against England. I know he'd scored two back-to-back like double hundreds against them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
When England was touring India. So yeah, man, it's again, he is also like pure bliss to watch. Some of his stroke making is, especially on the offside, is beautiful.
Brilliant. I mean, Yashasvi, I think he has come out of the mentality I'll either leave the ball or kind of like not offer a shot or kind of play solid defense, or if I'm going for it, I'm gonna throw my bat and
Easy,
win.
easy, like the Indian Ben Duckett,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or
Oh, no, 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 no. There is no comparison. He has left a lot more balls than Ben Tuckett. There
oh
was
no, no, he's
conversation
he's
about
definitely way more sensible on, or learning to like
I won't
learning
say
the trade.
sensible. I'm sure Ben Duckett has a sensible way of playing for his technique,
Yep.
but I feel technically Yashasvi Jaiswal is a more complete batsman than Ben
Hmm.
Duckett in terms of the gears in his game.
Yep.
So, like showing an 89 in that first innings definitely felt like he missed out on 100. I
Yep.
think it is very obvious he did. Uh, like when Nitish, like when Pant fell, I see that's how Pant plays. He goes smack bang. If it comes off, it
I
looks
know.
beautiful. If it doesn't, you feel the same stupid, stupid, stupid. But I mean, the shot he played, it was something that England played on his ego. They flighted a ball, they had a long on, and then he still went for that shot, and then
Yep.
he gave
Yep.
it to him. I mean, yeah, it's
That's
unfortunate.
it is. It's sort of the nature of the beast in and that's what you
Yeah.
get with Rishabh Pant. He did definitely look twitchy, bit edgy and bit sort of tentative. But
Mhm.
that is again, Rishabh's game. And I think when we have a solid team like what we have right now, when there are more sort of, classical or conventional batters in the lineup, you afford to have that freedom and have that, dynamism of his fit in as well because
This is
it bodes well.
exactly. This is exactly what we were talking about, right? We want one Rishabh Pant and like five, six proper batters around, and not
Precisely.
five, six stroke
Yep,
makers
yep,
and
yep.
mavericks. I think you have to give credit to the way a Jadeja, a Shubman Gill, or even a KL Rahul have
Hmm.
molded themselves to take time at the crease to show that what we were worried about, they've definitely proved us wrong.
Agree. And that makes sense, right? And it sort of brought the best out of the entire team as well. Like you're structuring, yourselves and positioning yourself in such a way that you sort of end up blossoming well, and that sort of works very well in the team's favor. So, yep.
Yeah. I mean, certainly that was a. But when Nitish fell, like, firstly, I was like, he is not a number six. Why are you sending him at number six? And I was really disappointed. But Jadeja, beautiful, a 200 run stand at that
That is,
pace,
yep, 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 yep.
definitely broke England's back. They were at one point thinking they can bundle India under 300,
Yep.
350, and that will be a perfect uh, score
Point for them
after
to,
they,
build on from
yeah,
the
yeah,
yes.
yeah, made India bowl,
Yep.
but they made India bat. Like,
And
that was a beautiful partnership, and on top of it, your selection of Washington Sundar definitely, at least definitely justified himself because he made a 140 run partnership with Gill, which essentially took our first innings to a
with a
brilliant.
valuable contribution again. Yeah.
I will say more than valuable, man. At that point, having a 140 run partnership is no mean feat. Shows that he is definitely a proven solid batter.
Precisely, and he looked very assured test batter. Like I think he scored 42 of 100 odd balls, and that showed a lot of character
Yeah,
and definitely potential in terms of him being a long term sort of that lower order test all rounder. And I think Jadeja still got some gas in him, but
yeah,
you never know. Probably Washi is sort of that more 1:1 like to like replacement for Jadeja than maybe like
I'll
an
say
Ashwin
more
that he
for
was touted
Ashwin.
to. Um, I somehow don't see, right, yet not able to see Washia in the same light as Ashwin, the off spinner. Uh, he's more like the conventional, I don't know, flipper, straight one, kind of a bowler who definitely needs a bit more resistance from the pitch.
Yeah,
Which is why am trying to position himself as a more a Jadeja replacement and left-handed bat and like uh, off spin as well. But again, you rightly said justified his selection, proving that long having that long tail does help.
yeah.
So that really worked out well for us.
I mean, it was great that we rectified the problem we had in the first test where our lower middle order did not offer us anything. Now
Hmm.
Jadeja scored 87, Washington gave us a 40. Even for that matter, our tail tried to stick around. Like, I think Prasid and Siraj played a good chunk of 5, 6 overs, I
Yep,
believe. They definitely put in a little more effort into staying at the wicket and kind of tiring the English bowlers.
yep.
So, I mean, that was definitely great. But beyond all of that, I know we kind of touched on and gave superlatives to Gill's innings, but 269. Did you feel disappointed that he didn't get a 300?
Definitely did. The way he was batting, anything seemed achievable for him. He looked in such sublime form and touch. Didn't really miss time anything. So
Yeah, it
yeah,
was kind of unfortunate that he got out on that short ball, which he plays so well.
he plays so well. I will not say he missed out on a 300 in the sense I still want to give more credits to the innings, but us being the cricket fans and you definitely know, hey, like 250 plus scores don't really come every day.
Yeah.
And you sort of got to make the most when you are in and around that time and sort of make the
No,
most of
I'm
it.
not criticizing him. I'm
No,
just
no.
saying,
I'm just
as
saying
a
us
fan,
as a cricket fan or cricket fraternity where we sort of so want to, see our sort of, best players go on like, break records or make records for that matter. So
but I mean, 580, definitely a really, really, really good first inning score given like we were put into bat and
mhm.
that we were 211 for 5. It was hard toil for the English bowlers, man.
Oh,
Like,
like
they
150 overs, 150 or 151 overs, that sort of drains you mentally and physically. So
Yeah, I mean, they definitely were tired, and that showed when we sent them into bat at the end of the
The
second
end of
day.
the second day, no.
No, but you see all three wickets, their feet just don't move. Like you see a Ben Duckett again. Akashdeep, kudos to you, man. He bowled it in, and then one nipped out. Ben Duckett literally his feet don't move. He just puts his bat out, and what a catch by Gill! Like exactly what we were talking about in the first
In
test,
the
where they
first
dropped
innings, right?
catches.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gill sort of led the way on field as well. Like him, I think it was second or third slip to catch that ball.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was a
Third.
statement in making that he was really, really leading from the front. So
I
that would
mean,
have
just a
definitely.
cheeky comment.
Mhm.
That's where Jaiswal was.
Hey, well, you know what? Jaiswal didn't miss catches, and
Yeah,
he's being called out for all the right reasons. So we'll take that, and
yeah.
as we discussed, Jaiswal will come along as well. So
No, hundred
uh,
percent. It was
yeah,
just
I
a
know, I know,
funny
it was a cheeky
funny.
comment, but good
Yeah.
one.
But I mean, that was beautiful by Akashdeep. And again, Ollie Pope. What a ball, the first one to get, where you kind of it comes in and then swings out a
I know,
full
I know.
delivery. He committed too early. His head was falling over so far, and he just wasn't ready for that shot. That shot definitely seemed like something which he shouldn't be playing the first
Mhm.
ball of an innings, especially when the ball is moving. So a technical flaw, you feel?
Um, Certainly, yes. If you go by the classical books and stroke making, sure, that's probably not like a. I won't call it a non-test match ball. He could have played it better. Like others
Yeah.
we know would have definitely played it better. So yeah,
Yeah. So that was a good delivery, and then Zach Crawley, right? I mean, hitting few glorious cover drives off full balls, and then a ball slightly back of a length. Like literally, the ball he gets out to, the stance where he starts, his feet probably may move a couple of inches. Like
I
that's
know.
how much it moves.
Yep.
And he just let his bat out, tired mind, tired body. He just couldn't get going. That was
That too,
beautiful.
I'd probably put a body, on the same lines. I was going to say probably let's put a positive spin on it and be like, Siraj set him up well and
Oh,
sort of got that wicket. Is probably the better way to put that.
I mean, compared to the first test match, both of our opening bowlers were, I mean, I know
We're on the
Akashdeep
money.
came in for Bumrah,
Yep,
but
yep,
they
yep.
were so accurate with their lines and lengths. No loose balls,
Crazy.
no easy hittable
Yeah.
delivery. That was wonderful.
And I was
Like,
reading this stat as well, like Siraj, when he's in the team with Bumrah and Shami,
yeah,
he has like 33 or so average,
yeah.
to sort of, get into the wickets column. But when he is actually like leading the line or none of the senior bowlers are in the team, his average like drops to 22. That is pretty impressive for someone who's been asked to like lead the line in like senior bowlers
I
absence.
mean, it definitely showed, right? Like he, when he had to shoulder responsibility, he turned up.
He definitely put his arms up and, helped the team. And there was another observation plus, something I've been reading online as well. Do you think Siraj sort of gets the short end of the stick because when Bumrah is bowling or he's in the team, Siraj usually bowls from like the secondary end, like the end that is not really, as conducive for a pace bowler. And is that really sort of not really playing out in his favor?
See, it's you when you're up against Bumrah, it's just how it's gonna be. When you have an ace up your sleeve who
Hmm.
can run through a batting lineup, who can produce a wicket out of nothing, just for an equal footing for all the bowlers, I don't think it is justified from a team first perspective to bowl Bumrah from an end where it doesn't aid him.
Of
So
course.
I
Yeah.
will definitely say it is unfortunate for Siraj, but I mean, hey, that I mean, I would still say if he bowls a few overs where he isn't at his best, if Bumrah gets to, I'll still take that
Yep.
because even if Siraj bowls well, I feel Siraj still needs a little more time to set the batsman up.
Hmm.
Bumrah can produce an unplayable delivery out of nowhere, and
Man,
that is, I mean,
we can't
that's
even
the
compare
reason.
them. So.
No, but that's the reason why I'm so happy they didn't play Bumrah this game, and
Mhm.
I'm so excited to watch him play in Lords.
Lords,
Oh,
it's definitely going to be a game,
it's
a
gonna be
matchup for
beautiful.
sure. Yep.
But I mean, first day, Brook looked tentative. Again, Brook did not, his feet did not move. He was kind
He
of putting his
always
bat
looks
up.
tentative. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how he starts. He tries to,
Yeah.
play on couple of strokes and like probably, get
Yeah.
some, boundary balls away and then sort of build his confidence
He
that
did
way.
seem edgy. Like he did seem edgy in the sense that
Hmm.
he was playing and missing a few, and then he was kind of charging and hitting a release shot. I felt like we could get him. The luck just wasn't with us, where the ball didn't take the
Yep, yep,
edge
yep.
to the keeper or something. But at 72 for three, what did you feel? Was it a place where we wanted, or did we want one more?
Whoa. What we wanted, Jake, sure, we'll definitely take that. Did I think we would be there? No, certainly not, man.
Yeah,
What a start. E- and even 72 for 3 odd was like end of second day's play,
yeah,
but the
yeah.
England were actually 30 odd for 2 or 3, right? Like
Three,
they
three.
they really were down, down in the woods back then. So wow, I never saw that coming, and the fact that we started that way did really give us the confidence and good hope and rhythm going into the third day. I'm sure our whole team would have slept really well end
Really
of day
well.
two.
I
The
mean,
way and the start we got it.
you couldn't have had a better first 2 days, right? You score 580, you reduce the
Oh, like,
opposition to
if you were to
50.
write a script, I would take that. That was like
Right,
better, one of the better scripts around. So,
right. So from day three onwards,
hmm
because I was out and I mean, I have caught up on the highlights, caught up on the analysis pieces, saw the
hmm
different tactical master classes and the
you've done your
different
homework.
technical mistakes and everything. I've done the whole shebang. But I'd
Hmm.
like to hear from you. What did you feel on the third day? Like at the beginning of the day, what were your emotions and how did you go through the first innings? Just tell me your thoughts.
But I think we started with a bang. Like we got two quick wickets again. We sort of all and this has been an observation throughout the test match. Like often we took two quick wickets. Like I
Yeah.
think one phase in time, Siraj was in a hat trick. I think Akash Deep was on a hat
Akash,
trick. Like there was quick doubles that we came up with, which sort of rattled the English lineup as well, like their
yeah,
confidence. So day three, brilliant start. Like we about 80 85 for
five.
three. We became, yeah, I was going to say we we quickly went on to England quickly went on to being 85 for 5. Man, I was very hopeful when I saw 85 for 5. I thought maybe there's a chance we could even enforce the follow on. Like your
Exactly.
minds would race to think that way. But boy, oh boy, like then walked in Jamie Smith. He
Oh my God.
he he doesn't look like a number six batter. Like like you made the same comment for Nitish Kumar Reddy. Jamie, I don't know where he would bat, but he ought to bat up the order, man. He
Yeah.
looks a proper batter. Like, oh my God, like pretty clean both again. Uh,
Pace and
you know,
spin.
pace and spin. Wow, clean hitting
But
and.
shots, dude, the aggression that that guy and Brook showed in that 1.5 sessions, I was asleep. I wasn't getting enough sleep in this new place where we went. So I was kind of getting up every hour, couple of hours, and then kind of checking the score. I saw 88 for 5. I'm like, I went back saying India is in first in the
Oh my
follow.
God, I know.
I
Yeah,
woke up an hour and a half later. I'm like 200 for 5. I'm like, okay, they're good batsmen. They'll score. And then I slept back, came back at 300 for 5. I'm like, dude, what is
I know,
happening?
I know.
Like, are they
To be
really going to run away with this match?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I did think that there would be some partnership. England definitely best ball. They're not going to like bundle out for, less than 100, 150 or 200. I did see some partnership coming through, but I didn't see like about 301 odd run
Three,
partnership,
yeah,
man.
exactly.
Like until I think Brooks got out, he again got a peach of a ball from, Akash Deep. They didn't
It
really
was
look.
a the pitch was a new
Hmm.
ball pitch. Like you realize
And
every time the new ball
undeniably,
came
every
in,
time the
wickets
new
fell.
ball came on, something happened. Undeniably, yeah. And arguably, you could say across the two test matches, of course, barring the first test match and second innings, we definitely used the new ball better. Like the
Yeah.
kind of chances we produced, and this time around, we sort of latched on to everything. It was amazing. Like, oh my God, like you are absolutely right. As soon as the new ball came along, we were able to extract much more out of the pitch and like make the
Oh,
ball talk.
at the beginning of the series, like
Mhm.
I was worried about. Root and Brook. We've so far been able to neutralize Root, where we
Mhm.
haven't given him those big scores. He scored 150, but other than that, it's been tens and twenties. We've definitely kept him down. But Brook,
True,
man, oh man, that guy, when he gets going, he is. I mean, he looks impossible to stop. He just keeps playing his shots
true.
over and over again, and he looks so beautiful.
So beautiful,
He's
agree.
tall. He has a reach. If the ball is even slightly back of a length, just a small
Mhm.
step forward, and he flays it off the offside. It's amazing.
And more that too, I think the overall beauty of the whole, 300 odd runs partnership and overall England's game is they've definitely made Test cricket more interesting. The
Yeah,
fact that they scored 300 odd runs, pretty much run a ball, or I don't know the exact number
yeah,
of balls they
about
faced.
about.
Point being that in old times, probably 300 runs would have come out of 500 or 600 balls. It would have been like the most boringest, innings phase of the innings, especially given the fact that they were 88 for 5
Yeah,
to come
yeah.
in and sort of keep the momentum up and like build from there. You got to give both of them the kudos. They sort of, as you could rightly say, they sort of made India taste the sort of the medicine that India were giving back to England in the first innings. So that was pretty harsh, and of course until
I
the
was
the new
more
ball came.
worried when I was following the score.
Hmm.
Like the flashbacks were going to the game that England played against Pakistan, where Pakistan scored 580 and still lost the game because Brooks scored a triple hundred and Root scored a 280, 200 or something.
Hmm.
Like they decimated the Pakistani bowling lineup, and without
So.
Bumrah, I was definitely fretting that when the two of them were going. I mean, dude, both of them tall fellows scoring hundreds and then
Mhm.
still going so strong. It must have been beautiful to watch, right?
It was great, man. Like as I said, like they beautifully constructed the innings, be it spinner or pacer, especially as the ball became soft and old. Man, they looked in like cruise control, and it was sort of entertaining to watch the overall innings. So.
Washington justified his plays as a batsman. He is not a wicket taking bowler in these
He's
conditions.
definitely not a wicket-taking bowler. As I said, that is also one of the reasons, the start of this conversation, I said he probably is more like a Jadeja equivalent. Like, not to say that Jadeja has, chipped in with wickets, but he's like Jadeja, he's also someone who definitely needs more resistance from the pitch.
But
Ashwin
Jadeja
is,
also hasn't looked anywhere near like taking wickets or even containing. At one point, Washington
yep,
was going at six
almost six
runs
in the
per
over. Yep,
over,
yep,
man.
yep, yep. But again, as I'm probably jumping onto the second innings, but as the pitch started to get old and we sort of sought some purchase from the wicket, he gave us a crucial breakthrough of like Ben Stokes in the second inning. So, you know, he overall he justified his selection. Was a decent contribute more than a decent contribution. So we'll take that, and that's what you expect of from like a
Yeah.
what a number seven, bowling
Number
all
eight.
rounder or batting all number eight batting all rounder or bowling all rounder. So
I mean, eventually, see, India won the game by 360, 330 runs. So
yep.
everything was justified. Every decision they made,
Hmm.
whether the player specifically performed or not, it came good. So there is nothing criticizing them. But yeah, we'll bottle this chat up for the preview of the next
For
test
the
as to
preview,
what
right?
we
Yep.
should do. But again, man, the breakthrough that Akashji provided India.
Crazy. That sort of opened the floodgates again. Then they started to crumble. They weren't really able to get any partnership going from there. And like and it was. If you look back, it's a pretty comical scoreboard. Like
Yeah,
I'm seeing there were like six batters in the English team who had like scores of zero.
ducks.
So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, like and a couple of them had like first ball hits. So that is, you don't really see. And then there is like two towering hundreds from Harry Brook and then Jamie Smith.
James
So
Smith.
that was good. And the one other thing that I liked after sort of Akash they broke through was Siraj came up and he sort of cleaned the tail. Like he pitched the ball up, got couple of LBWs, and that was when I was really started to think, oh, I mean, Siraj can lead a bowling lineup. Like when he's been given the ball and when he's been backed and given that confidence, he's definitely someone who seems to be who works better when he's been backed, and you give him that confidence. And there was a bit of flair in him. He did get charged up, so but all in all, he came back. He sort of cleaned the tail, and was figures of six
The
for
second
70
thing that
in England.
no, the
Is
second thing that India didn't do well in the first test, right? Letting their tail wag on for
Yep,
long.
yep,
This
yep,
time
yep.
they cleaned it up.
They cleaned it up. So again, kudos to overall team performance and captaincy, especially on day five of first test match. There was some odd flying questions, especially from the English com box, raising questions on captaincy. But
Yeah.
all in all, great package to sort of
I mean,
bundle England
for
out.
a team which looked so toothless in the first test,
Hmm.
not coming in with Bumrah, and all 10 wickets having been taken by your pacers, like
Paces is a
Siraj and
statement.
is a statement. And I mean, in all of this hunky dory story, very disappointed with Prasid Krishna.
Mm, I would. Short answer would be yes. I would. He didn't really do as much in the first innings, but to his credit, something he could definitely take away from the game is he was pretty effective and did help us contain the English innings in the second inning. So I will still sort of cut him some slack and be like he's learning. Give him more chances. He's probably going to come through good in time, and he's definitely a good squad bowler for the time being. He may not be the one who would sort of give you the wickets, but he's definitely, a good player to have around and like groom him into the.
Here's my take about it. Let me put it this way.
Mhm.
You are going in with three at this point at least. You are going in with three pure bowlers. When you're going in with three pure bowlers and three all rounders, out of which you consider Jadeja and Washington to be containing bowlers, and
Mhm.
either of Nitish Reddy or Shardul who plays, they are going to be the relief sixth bowler. So
Right.
you are essentially going in with three out and out pacers. I would expect all three of them to have the ability to be a strike bowler any given chance.
That's a
I
fair
don't
expectation. Yep,
I
I
don't
agree.
think it is fair for us to go in considering one bowler who didn't look threatening, anywhere near threatening to take a wicket, or didn't look in rhythm. His pace was down, like definitely down from what we've seen him bowl.
Yeah.
Seeing that, I was very disappointed in the sense that in the first test, the one thing which I spoke about was although Siraj bowled his heart out and all of that, Prasidh Krishna was the bowler who looked like he could produce those magic
Mm,
balls to
yep.
take that wicket. Here he looked like very pedestrian, like no pace, no control over line and length, like
Mhm.
giving away runs. So I am not a I don't accept the fact that he did a good containing job. I feel his role was something else in the team. So
Right. Again, I was just trying to cut him some slack, but I totally am sort of, aligned on the same page with the fact that if you have three top like frontline seam bowlers who can't bat for nothing, you really
yeah,
expect all three of them to be like very potent and giving you wickets. Which arguably, if you depending on which three you pick, right? Like most likely, Bumrah is going to be back. Bumrah, Siraj, Akash seem to
Akash,
be that three wicket taking sort of seam
yeah,
seam bowling attack you would need. Again, I'm just
but
going
that
back to
poses
the
a
point that
different problem. We'll
no, I
come
know,
to
no.
it.
Point being, I agree. Prasid should be doing more. My hope is with time and sort of sort of groom him a little more, he'll get there. Again, to cut him some slack, he's probably just coming out of IPL, still adjusting his lines. Also, some maybe one of the reason why his pace was down, probably he was trying to get the ball in the right areas more so than to sort of focus on
Yeah,
speed.
maybe.
But of the lot, he he's how do I put it? He definitely has a different skill set that outright, because barring Bumrah, you don't really bring Bumrah into the conversation every time. Barring Bumrah, he brings something that outright we don't have in the other bowlers. He's
Right.
someone who can you know make use of his height, pitch it short, get that bounce. So, which again is going to be helpful as over the months and years when we probably travel to other Sena nations. So.
He is 29, by the way. So
Hey,
I mean, he's not
no, no,
getting any
I see what
younger.
you're saying. As they say in football, like, defenders sort of peak late. Maybe, this is sort of the game for, ballers in cricket as well.
Yeah, I
Hey,
mean,
on
I
the
want
front,
him to do well.
Akashdeep, I think is 28. So the
Yeah,
point I'm trying to make is, uh, he's learning. I at this point in time I'm not able to think of other bowlers who could be a better test match bowler. I know Harshit Rana is still around. Arguably, I think he's a better white ball bowler,
yeah,
or probably he's still young. He's sort of still, you know,
learning.
still raw, for a lack of a better term. So he's still learning. And again, I'd probably go back to that. Prasid Krishna has a skill set which is a bit unique and different from what the rest of the team has. So it could come in handy, as we
Yeah.
progress.
So at the end of the first innings, 180 run lead, like feeling really positive about India, right?
Oh my goodness, we can't really.
No, I mean even in the when the second inning started, it
Mhm.
almost felt to me like when I saw the score and the highlights later, it almost felt to be like the Indian batters were really going for it to kind of score those quick big runs to
Yep,
put
yep.
England back in, right?
Especially, Yashasvi and both Rahul, I would say, got
Yeah,
off to a great start. Yashasvi especially was looking to, sort of time and time the ball well, even drive, played some good shots,
good pulls as well
good pulls
of
as well.
short
Yep.
balls that they tried to get
Hmm.
him. I mean, but I mean, back right, your Josh Tong comes in, bowls that beautiful ball which kind of just nips back in, and Yashasvi just played down the long line. Like
I know, I know.
he was gone.
He was he was plumb. I was a bit
Yeah,
disappointed that he actually went on to review it.
went on
You
for
should
a
you
review.
should know better in a sense that man, that was looking plumb all day long. So
Yeah,
I think he could have done a better job not reviewing it. There was a small, it didn't really, became a controversy later. But then I
yeah,
was looking at the match live. He definitely did go or indicate that he would want to review it after the timer went out. And Ben
yeah,
Stokes rightly called it out. The umpire sort of, played a middleman, and umpire felt it was okay, and then eventually we lost the review. But that said, I somehow felt it was a plum LBW, and he could have been better off not reviewing it.
yeah. I
But
mean,
yeah.
ifs and buts. But again, Karun Nair, one down, scores 20 odd runs. But when I was watching the highlights back,
Mhm.
the first session of day four, it seemed like they were the best bowling conditions in the match, where the ball definitely seemed to be swinging around. I saw so many false shots from KL Rahul, from Karun Nair. He was lucky, a ball literally went between the two slip
Yep.
fielders. And even the ball that he got out too, like it was a full ball, it just swung late, he committed. But I will say
Well,
one
I
thing.
would say it'd probably be the same fact, right? The ball was still new, so they were able to, sort of extract the
Move.
same purchase, and got to do it that little more, which definitely troubled our batters. So,
Yeah, I mean, again, 20 odd looking good, like beautiful drives and beautiful straight drives and cover drives, but not really capitalizing or defending balls which after a few boundary balls which he
yep.
probably should defend. uh,
He makes a really good candidate to sort of walk into this English team. He could play baseball.
what do you think, will cricket give him a third chance?
Oh wow. I think he would definitely play Lords, like the third test match. And should this repeat again, then there would definitely be questions, right? It's a case of, again, why fix something if it's not broken? Overall, we've been doing great. There have been other highlighting performance which would sort of help mask, Karan's. I don't want to call it failure again. I think he's still figuring it out. I don't mean to sort of, be defensive about him. For a senior batter, in terms of experience overall, who's played the game, he should definitely be doing better. This is again coming from a fact that, hey man, Karun, like this is just us wishing the best for you. Like, go
Yeah.
out there and make this a fairy tale story for yourself.
I
So,
mean, I really want. He is definitely the him and you will say Sai Sudarshan. Although Sai Sudarshan only got 2 innings, like they
mhm.
are the only batters in this Indian team who probably haven't scored 100 because KL has,
Yeah, right now at
Yashasvi
this
has,
point in time, you're right.
Shubman
Yes,
absolutely has, Rishabh has. It's just him.
true.
So I mean, if you think about it, I would want him to come good, but definitely he's the most under pressure batsman in this team
At
going
this
into the
point in
next.
time, agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, but from that point again,
From
Yashasvi,
that
sorry,
point,
Shubman Gill comes in,
Shubman Gill
shows his
comes in.
pristine class.
Yeah, that was great to watch. And then along with that, walks in our Maverick batter, Rishabh Pant, who
No, but
was.
before that,
Mhm.
KL Rahul scored a beautiful 50. Like, definitely, he seemed to be wanting to play a bit more shots than
Yep.
what he did in the first test match. But, I have one slight, how do I put this? Observation, I'll say.
Hmm.
In the test match, in the BGT, recently concluded BGT series, the first test match, KL Rahul was lauded so much for his ability to leave the ball. In the first test, he left the ball, left the ball, left the ball. He played a slow 200 ball 70, something like he anchored the innings, played well. He did the same here. In the
Hmm.
first test match, when Yashasvi was going strong, when Gill, whoever, everybody was going for their shots, KL was playing that anchor, leaving the ball, slowly covering. In the second test, I feel even in BGT, if you remember, as the series progressed, he got out trying to play shots, not trying to defend. I thought he
Hmm.
was trying to play a few many shots. I mean, in Sydney or somewhere, he actually almost charged and tried to hoik the ball straight. Match conditions were different, but still,
So
even here, I feel like he is getting out trying to play some shots. So I am a bit worried that as the series progresses, the same pattern shouldn't
might
come
they
in.
be exposed more? Yeah.
No, he should actually, I feel, take every game as a fresh start. I'm sure everybody does, but just my thought, like start from zero, whatever worked for you in the first test, try to repeat, and then build your innings again. That's okay. Like I'm sure you feel like you are capable enough to hit many more shots, but it's okay. Take some time. Like I want him to have another 100 in the next few games. Like
For sure.
100%.
Yep. Agreed.
But he got a ball from Josh Tongue,
Oh
which
man.
kind of acted like a precursor to one which Akashdeep would bowl
The bolt
later.
to Joe Road. I
Oh
know,
man,
man.
wide of the stumps, full, and then at his pace of 90 miles per hour, if it
Is
straightens, like you're gonna be flummoxed, right?
I know. That again, that ball deserved the wicket. I think any
Yeah,
batter out there would have definitely struggled to play it. So again, arguably easy, unlucky to get it, maybe,
yeah, yeah.
but
But
yeah,
that
he
was
got
a
to sort of credit the ball
beautiful
as well.
ball,
Yep,
man.
great ball,
I think
great.
that's what, right? Josh Tongue looked like the most threatening bowler in the sense that he was the one who was able to, even he
Yep,
is the one who got Jadeja out in the first innings as well, right?
right.
Yeah. So he is the one who has that maverick or magic delivery in him, which he just kind of rips through.
So true,
But
true, true, true.
I mean, having said that, as you said, Pant and Gill come together.
It was very entertaining to watch again. Like this time around he didn't look twitchy. He looked to be in some form. More importantly, he sort of injected that sort of freshness at that point in stage of the game where it could have gone either ways. We could have gotten stuck, but then Pant being Pant, he sort of came out, played his shots, like dropped down the pitch, hit few lusty sixes. And then probably
Got
first time
lucky.
ever got lucky. Yeah, sure, he was probably you're right, got lucky. And then probably first time ever there were wagon wheels of his bat flying out. It happened twice. That was sort of hilarious to watch. Like we've only seen pitch wagon wheels drawn for sixes being scored. This time around they were trying to calculate, okay, how high Rishabh Pant's bat went when when it slipped out of his hand. It was hilarious. But all in all, he sort of gave that very much needed pace and injection of life into the game, or at least during that phase of the game.
Yeah, I
So,
mean,
and
to
again,
produce a result, India needed to score those runs quickly on day
quickly for
4
sure. Yep,
to give enough overs to England where they don't really just knuckle down and defend,
true,
they
true,
still
true,
play
true.
their shots, right? So I think that way his innings was very important.
Oh, absolutely, no two doubts about it. He, as I said, got us going, and
Yeah.
then in comes Jadeja at number 6.
Six.
That was your prediction, which came out so right. He did really well. We could jump into his innings. He
Oh
gave
man,
the much
I
needed spine to to our innings later.
but I saw him scoring 25 of 70. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what aren't you
So I
scoring?
was watching the game with my roommate, and we were so dejected and disappointed at what he was trying to do. He looked stuck, although he wasn't able to score. And his innings of, that innings of Jadeja was probably one innings that Pujara and Rahul Dravid would be proud of. He literally played a test match innings then. I mean, oh my God, England team were frustrated. Like, dude, like probably hit out or get out. This is way too much for us as well. You just eating balls here. But again, I think he sort of provided that support and spine that Gill needed. And in the other end, Gill was going. Wow, he was sublime. He just didn't really look like he would stop. Some of his punches, man, I am probably going to spiral into talking Gill again.
Man,
But class innings.
269 in the first innings, 160 in the second innings. What, 420, 30 odd runs in a single test match? Had
For
he
430
scored.
runs. So you know what? I knew this was already sort of a record in the making. I literally had opened Crick Buzz on my phone and I was trying to see through the record of who has the sort of the highest aggregate runs in a test match. And oh man, we sort of witnessed that record in the making, but crazy.
But I mean, I think Kambli has scored two double hundreds in the same test match, right?
The same test match,
Has
is it?
he?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Let me have a look.
No, as
I
in
would
it's not.
really love to have a
He's
look.
probably scored two double centuries in back-to-back games. He certainly isn't up there. Graham Gooch has the record of 456 or so, where he scored a 333 and a 123, which is sadly against India as well. But
That's true.
I don't think Kamble is up there. He must
Oh,
have
really?
definitely scored two double centuries, but in back-to-back innings of two different test matches, not in the same test match. So
Oh, really? Was
yeah,
that
no,
it?
no one has really done that. So I guess this is the first time someone has scored a 250 and a 150 plus in the
Oh.
same test match. So
Just a second. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. He
yep.
basically has, you're right. He has two consecutive. Because somehow so far I had the thought that he scored two double hundreds, he scored two
Mhm.
double hundreds. But I mean, glad I got that cleared up. But man, 106. But after, like, exactly the antithesis to how they played in the session before tea.
Mhm.
As soon as they came out of tea, both the batsmen came all guns
I think the first ball after
blazing.
T Jadeja, sort of came down the track and hit Bashir for a six, and then
Yeah.
I think they brought Joe Root into the
They
ball.
basically,
They
whomever
were
came
trying
on,
just they were
they
just
both
throwing
were hitting.
everything at the kitchen sink. So
Yeah.
and then Gill scored a couple of sixes, of Joe Root's bowling as well. It was amazing to witness
Oh
that
man,
sort of.
I mean that was a brilliant way. I think India probably just did not want to collapse. Like at that point, India did not want to collapse
Yeah.
and wanted to bide out time, where they
So
were like, let's get to tea, let's be in a good state, and then let's attack hell for leather. Let's see where we get, and then let's declare.
true, true, true. Do you think on that note, do you think we sort of held back the declaration call a bit too late, or of course in
So I
hindsight
was
it all looks great, but then what was your thought?
No, that was actually something that even I was pondering, but I was reading around about it.
Mhm.
It was a very brilliant point which was brought up somewhere that even after Gill getting out, India did not declare. India
Right,
still kept on batting for a bit. The thought process probably was that this Duke ball is good enough for the first 30 overs. For the
right,
first 25, 30 overs, it moves, it does something. So they probably wanted about 15 overs of that in the first evening, where the batsmen are
right.
still fresh and were not kind of going on.
Mhm.
And they wanted another burst of 15 good overs with that ball in the beginning of the second day, where they get the maximum usage out of it.
Right.
And they get another new ball again at the end of the next day, like literally
Are
towards
we
the end
gone
of the
until
day.
then? Yeah, I know.
I mean, I thought that was a very good point brought up because if
Absolutely.
you look at the way the fourth innings panned out, India definitely made whatever inroads they had to make in those 30 overs.
Hmm.
Like we got Root, Crawley, and Duckett the first evening.
Right.
We got Brook early the next evening.
Hmm.
And then definitely I feel Stokes played on a little longer. We didn't get the fifth wicket till a little
I
later.
know. Agreed.
But the four, definitely the top four, we got them within the first 30 overs. So that definitely whatever they were going for, it worked.
Yeah, there's a bit of a talking point on Ben Stokes' wicket as well. It was probably less than a minute left before lunch, and the umpire let India continue with the next over, and then
Yeah.
rightly so, Washi came in and like got that wicket. That, of course, we're raving about it and liking because it sort of went in our favor. But I can,
No, but that's the whole point, right? When you have even a minute or some time left, that is the reason why the second last over that Jadeja bowled, he just Jadeja being Jadeja just ran through
been
his
through
own
the, I don't know,
stumps to
yeah,
get one more. Like that is a very underrated point about Jadeja, which sometimes in such situations, if it works out, it feels
yeah.
like
Yep,
wow,
yep, yep.
good thought process.
And
But before getting there, again, like you saw all three wickets live on the first evening. Like, what
mhm.
did you feel? Like, how were they set up?
They were, I mean, I have the scoreboard in front of me. Let me sort of walk you through or walk them through like wicket by wicket, right? Ben Duckett again around the wicket, similar to the first innings wicket. Of course, first innings Ben Duckett caught out on slip. This time around, again, over the wicket or around the wicket, Akash did just bit of that movement where he got the inside edge and played along. So.
Almost felt like it was the opposite of what he did in the first innings.
uh,
In, then out, here, out,
Then
out, out, and
exactly.
then
He said it really well. And if that sort of seeing that visual reminded me how effective Akashdeep was during I think it was early last year, beginning of last year when England toured India. And then
correct,
Akashdeep actually
correct.
broke into the foray. He was man. We could, yeah. So again, he really set him up well, so much so that I could see, I don't know, probably too early to compare Akashdeep to a Shami, but I could see like a Shami light with Akashdeep in terms of how he's been setting up his bowlers and, uh,
Too
making
early,
the.
definitely, but he did
Mhm.
the same job today. He did the same job in
Yep,
this game, right?
yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep. And then Zach Crawley, he got one wide out of the off stump, and then Zach Crawley being Zach Crawley, I think he was trying to be itchy and wanted to get going. He played it along and then got out at point. It was a very fine catch by
There
Sai
was
Sudarshan.
actually, yeah, sorry, there was actually a nice clip that was on in social
Mhm.
media where Siraj wants that fielder moved to a different position. Gill tells him, let him stay
First, is
there,
it
you
okay?
bowl your regular delivery, catch wahi aayega, and it actually comes in
First in with
there.
the feeling. I know, I know. That was
Hey, I
spot
mean,
on.
for a captain on whom people were raising questions at the end of the first test match, it's
So
definitely a great advertisement to the fact that he came with a plan, he backed his plan,
stuck
and
to
it worked.
his. Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know.
And then what about the magic ball?
When he honestly, I'd be honest. This was probably the first game where I could see crease length and actual use of the bowling crease by the bowler to such great effect. I'm still, I mean, so it was sort of fascinating to an extent that I've been thinking that I have a fair bit of good understanding about the game. But then in comes Akashdeep, which with the pitch offering little to nothing,
Nothing.
and just the new ball that showed some signs of life. Him actually being able to use the pitch to that effect, and as you rightly pointed out, KL's wicket by Georgetown was sort of a precursor to this wicket, and sort of there was repeat in action, man. Crazy again, sort of set him up well, and it sort of held its line. And again, classic wicket in terms of the bales of off stump dislodging. That was picture perfect in terms of how we can catch Joe Root off guard, essentially. So
Oh man, like going wide of the crease, swinging the ball out so late, where the
Mhm.
batsman is committed to playing that shot
Yep, yep,
and
yep.
knocking him over. I mean, when I saw the scorecard first that Joe Root is gone, I was just dancing, and
We
then
all
and
ran, I think.
eventually when I saw the highlights, I was like, dude, this deserved a wicket.
I
It was
know.
so beautiful, so
And then he
beautiful.
followed that up with Harry Brooks as well. Harry Brook got, I would say, pretty much a similar ball as he got in the first innings, where the ball just zipped and nipped in. This time, of course, he was caught, or rather, caught LBW and not bowled. But
Dude,
what a
that ball almost spun like an off spinner's delivery
I,
at
I
140.
you're right, exactly. And it sort of felt that it was at good pace as well. The way it sort of stuck Harry Brook and then he sort of had this recoil. It seemed it, or it could just be the fact that, Harry Brook, of course, didn't really expect it to, come in as sharp as it did. And he did review it, but then I think it was again quite evident that it was plumb LBW, the way it sort of nipped in and,
But just a small point, this might not be a pattern,
Mhm.
but do you see a similar trend for Harry Brook potentially, like what happened with or what could happen with Shubman Gill, where Shubman Gill was susceptible because he has good
To
drive,
the in
is
swingers or
susceptible
the
to that
incoming
ball
ball, yes.
pitching and coming in. He was susceptible to that. Harry Brook, 2 innings in a row, pitching and coming in, getting out. Lords.
You have
Hey,
a
what?
great point. I would say he probably does. It I was going to say he probably does. He for sure does. And what I was going to add up to and say that is that so far he's been getting such pitches which are not really conducive to pace bowlers. Like he could get away with his sort of technique or shortcoming with pretty much flat to dead pitches that they've been getting, and pretty much arguably even pitches in Pakistan are pretty flat and dead. The fact that he scored a 300 just go to the fact that again, I don't mean to say or take anything away from Harry Brook as a batter. He's pretty talented batter, but as all batters do, he 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 has an obvious flaw that could be exploited. So
Just a small just a snippet. When Shubman Gill scored 100 in the first test, you
mhm.
had English commentators saying, "Oh, it's the flattest wicket. Hey, he's gonna score 100." Now it's almost like we are giving it back, where we are saying, "Hey, he scored 300, but that's a flat wicket. When it moves, you never know."
Right. I mean, it's true, right? Honestly, it's sort of true. So we're just pointing out and giving it back to them. So
No, but two
mm,
dismissals, identical deliveries, definitely unplayable balls. I don't think you can play that ball
yep.
which moves like an off spinner at 140. But I would like to see, especially at Lords, with the way the ground is structured, if India
Mhm.
can replicate that, and if we can, how Brook plays. I don't know what his record is at Lords. I'd like to read it up. But
We'll have to see. Yeah, I
yeah,
personally haven't looked it up, but we'll see.
yeah. But I think there is a stat. I don't know the exact number, but a bowler bowling, like cleaning up the top 4 or 5 batters in the
Oh yeah,
same
yeah,
test
yeah. You
match
bring
is
up a
happening after
great,
like a long time. Like,
yeah,
kudos to Akashdeep, man. Actually, where all the other bowlers, none of the other bowlers, honestly, were
truly,
able
yeah.
to extract that movement of the wicket. He
Hmm.
was consistently able to make the new ball talk, and he got wickets. That
He
is
did absolutely. Kudos to
insane.
him, and it's sort of humble enough of him to mention this post match that he's been playing Ranji Trophy a lot, and in Ranji Trophy they do get such flat wickets where the bowler has to really outfox the batter and focus on skill and like in pitching the ball up in the right lines and lengths consistently. So sort of played out in his favor in the sense that he sort of had that experience to, to bowl and adjust to such conditions. So again,
But
kudos
like,
to Akashdeep.
very like another point. It's nice that you brought this up. Akashdeep has played on flat wickets,
Hmm.
and eventually he has probably worked on this skill where he tries to kind of move the ball off the wicket. Or
Right,
in England, he has been able to bowl that a bit fuller. That bit fuller
right.
where that moving ball hits the stumps. I, again, some article or some research I was doing for the podcast. Prasid Krishna also plays on similar wickets in Karnataka. like when he plays Karnataka cricket, where the
Right.
pitches are flat or conducive to spinners. So the work of pace bowlers is to use their pace to rough up the batsman to try to bowl short and get them. He
So
hasn't been able to make that switch to bowl a little fuller compared to Akashdeep, or maybe
agreed.
it's their height as well. Like that
Right
could
as
be.
well, and to sort of defend Prasid Krishna a bit, his overall economy and performance did get better in the second innings of the second test match. He was able to contain them better. Again, is that enough? Not really. Am I going to? I'm just trying to find
Yeah,
positives for him, especially in a pitch that didn't really help or
yeah,
aid the
yeah,
bowlers. Uh, yeah, you probably have to say that he's still learning, and
yeah.
so yeah.
But Washington definitely. See, I will not a wicket taker, but having said that, that one wicket of Ben Stokes very important.
Pitched in line and straight, and which again is. I he's a pseudo bowler. I mean, I don't want to be saying this. I'm so sorry. He's a pseudo spinner, right? You would want to think that his ball would actually, pitch in and like, be that classical off spinner, go out, and that's probably was what
Ben Stokes.
Ben Stokes was expecting. But that didn't really happen. So he sort of caught him with the finest of the margin. So, and this
I
is
think the drift. I think the drift kind of did it
Oh,
for Ben
the
Stokes. The
man,
ball
it
kind
was
of.
so beautiful to watch that drift. Like, again, as I said, that I was like for a second, hey, like, do spinners swing the ball? What is it? What am I seeing? Like, ball wobble in the air so much. So again, a new facet of the game that I was able to sort of pick up watching this game. But again, great.
That was beautiful, and then like it was just a cleanup job for the tail. But we have to give out a shout out to Jamie Smith again. The one
Man,
batter.
he was the thorn in the horn for the Hearts. He was going great guns, and again, I would say Akashdeep set him up well to get his dismissal out. He pulled, he balled like two good short deliveries, good at full length and full pace, at which Jamie Smith sort of rightfully
Beautiful
got with
sixes.
them out to sixes, and then the third ball he sort of dragged it a bit short and slow. It didn't really bounce as much, and
Yeah.
that sort of caught Jamie Smith. So. Again, how well Akashdeep was able to set another batter up.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean, that was a beautiful innings by Jamie Smith where everybody else looked troubled. He was
Hmm.
so flawless and he wasn't getting bogged down. He was still playing his shots and he was playing
So
them
true,
so
true,
well.
true.
I mean, I'm amazed at how well England have been able to produce this keeper batter like after Bairstow.
Crazy.
Bairstow was this
Yep.
towards the end, especially when he chased it down against
Oh
India
my
and a few
God.
other teams. I mean,
Yeah.
from that point to actually get a person like Jamie Smith who has that match changing ability at number six, I mean, it was definitely something beautiful to watch, and I'm
For sure.
wary of that guy. I'm wary of that guy going down the
Pretty
stadium.
much. Yeah. I probably mentioned this at the top of beginning of this discussion. He's definitely not a number six batter. I don't know would that mean he would replace Audie Pope or replace Harry Brook or there's some kind of other adjustment. But I also get it. Like you have Ben Stokes in the team who is a capable batter himself. What do you do with the sort of the batting lineup? But boy, oh boy, he's legit a batter,
I
as
think
much as
number
he's a
six is
keeper.
perfect for him at this point, given their batting lineup. And even if there is a replacement for Ollie Pope, it will probably be Bethel from the conversation ongoing.
Yep.
So, and I wouldn't want to change his position. Hey, he's doing his job perfectly at number six. Let him do
I'm just
that. And
saying, as
yeah,
a pure cricket enthusiast, and trying
yeah.
to sort of try to put this neutral hat on, he could be doing much more if he gets more time or comes up the order and sort of show his true potential.
IPL auctions coming up.
Maybe that's the case. I mean, yeah,
Hey, who doesn't? A keeper batter is definitely very, 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 very much
sort.
appreciated by everybody, especially my favorite KKR, who
Uh,
whose keeper batters are, for a lack of a better word, shite. So yeah,
we all know there are other teams in the in IPL that need a keeper batter.
yeah, but it's gonna be nice. But I'm sure he's destined for big things. That guy is a brilliant batter. But
But he's young.
to
He's what 24, so he's got a
yeah,
lot in him, and he'll definitely get his chances and more time to shine.
and then India definitely cleaned the innings up. England played some really good shots at the end, some just throwing the bat around.
They did. So I was thinking, I was listening to the commentary as well. There were talks about should England have at least tried to play along, by time. Maybe
Yeah,
there could have been a passing shower or bad light could
correct.
have stopped play and so on and so forth. My take was England sort of did what they call as, hey, live by the sword and die by the sword. Like that's they know one form of cricket or test cricket to play. They've decided this is how they're going to play, and they sort of tried to execute that to the as best as you could. Um, Given there could be debates about, hey, is that how conventional test matches play? You got to play the condition, play the situation, and so on and so forth. But let's agree, they probably don't know to defend. Had they tried to do something out of character, they might have probably bundled out sooner than later.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they just did what they know and sort of, die by the sword is probably the word to
yeah.
describe that.
And Akashdeep, man, 10 wicket haul, six-wicket
Fittingly, he
haul.
got the last wicket, and I was so glad that because there was this moment where Jadeja almost got Bashir out, which
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Bashir
There's a
rightfully
review.
reviewed, and the play went on for 20 odd runs, and then fittingly so Akashdeep came and like cleaned the tail you could
Last
call it,
batter out.
got Bryden Cars out, so it was fitting for him to get 10 wickets.
I mean, it was beautiful that the last wicket was taken by Akash Singh, Akashdeep,
Akashdeep,
and
yeah.
and the and the catch was taken by Shubman Gill.
Shubman Gill. It
India's
was
two
again, it
best
was definitely
players.
scripted well.
Yeah, I mean, India's two best players in this game definitely turned up in a game where we were fretting Bumrah's absence. Somebody coming in and taking 10 for, like,
Oh,
hey,
man, he's legend bowler. Let's put it that way. He's in an era in a sort of time where the game is headed more towards T20, more biased T20. Akashdeep is probably the shining light, an example of such bowlers who still do the hard yards in domestic cricket and fittingly so have appetite for Test cricket. His I Probably it might pay him a little less as compared to the big bucks you bank in like IPL and other T20 tournaments, which again arguably is another topic. But rightfully so. He is the test baller that India so badly needs.
no,
So
but I think cricket now as a test match game as well pays significantly well for
not
a
much
for a
better
bowler,
than,
and if
but
he can
yeah,
become a yeah, and
a
if he becomes a
premium.
contracted Indian player, he'll definitely get a really good
I
pay
know. I
package. So
so wish for him. Like back
yeah,
in the
yeah,
day, Pujara and Rahane were probably that specialist test players we had
yeah.
in the team, and got those contracts. So I would definitely want him to bank
A
one
good
such
good
big
deal.
contract. Yep.
I mean, at the end of the day, brilliant. What a comeback win by India.
Hey,
Look,
complete performance. We did it with the bat. We did it with the ball. We fielded and caught well.
fielded, yeah.
We got to and un, I don't want to say uncharacteristically, England though missed few catches. Not that it probably wouldn't have mattered. But then the fact that they did and we didn't was sort of the difference. So we'll take that.
It's nice where in the two test matches that the catching has the team which has dropped catches has lost. It's gonna be and it's even 1-1, like one for us,
The
one for
like
them.
the like the old saying, those catches win you matches.
Catches win
So
matches. Absolutely true, right? I mean, the moment something changes, the momentum changes, you
yep.
get those wickets, one brings two. You never know. So it's definitely
Which
important to back your bowlers
which
up.
it did for us. Like
It did
there
for us,
were
correct?
patches of the games we got two quick wickets back to back, like at least 3 to 4 times during both the innings. So
Yeah.
uh,
That's actually a good point that you brought up that it did happen for us where we took one and then that led to a second one.
I still remember when Akash Deep got two quick wickets or lightly back to back wickets. I was texting this other friend of mine, like England in deep trouble.
Oh man,
So.
that was a beautiful win. Great statement for India.
Mhm.
Shubman Gill looking $1 million, 300s
Wow.
in the first two test matches.
Yep.
Replicating what Virat Kohli did, right? I think he also got three.
I think you're right. He got as a captain, he did. Yes.
He got three. it's going to be interesting how India play in the next one. How what plans England have for Shubman Gill when we take the field 2 days from now?
Yes, Thursday is when the next game or the third test match at Lord's begins.
Yeah,
So
yeah, the home of cricket. It's it's gonna be amazing. But it's so nice going into a test match feeling so positive, feeling upbeat.
but
My prediction of India replicating what Australia did in the BGT after losing the first test is still on.
is this
Still
probably still
on.
on, man? I didn't really have much hopes for the second test match, right? In this, honestly, like with Bumrah out, we didn't know how we would get 20 wickets, but then we did.
I mean, it's very uncanny. It's very uncanny, but I'm gonna go ahead with this. One of Australia's best bowlers, Hazelwood, doesn't play the second test match after India win the first one.
Okay,
Who comes in? Scott Boland turns the game around, ends up being one of the best bowlers in the tournament.
let's
Bumrah doesn't play the second test match. Akashdeep comes in, ends up being essentially the man of
man.
the match had it not been for Shubman Gill's blinder of an innings. It's coming. It's
Likely history
coming.
repeats itself, so true, true, true. But
Yeah.
it's a good
This time
analogy
let's
that
go.
you bring up. Yep.
Yeah. So really, really hoping to see that. But we'll see each other when we preview the third test match, which
Third
is
test
coming right
match,
on the
and
corner.
we definitely delve into your experiences of being at the Lords, and we'll
Yes.
definitely want
I'm
you to
waiting to
share
show off about that.
more
But
experiences and yeah, talk about more.
yeah. Absolutely. So everybody, do like, share, and subscribe if you like what we do.